Did you guys meet online or did you know each other in person first?
Fran
Kevin,
and
it
I
looks
met
like you're
online.
coming in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin always has issues. He lives in I don't know.
I have bad reception here. I'll let Dan mostly talk.
We'll make do. It does not matter.
Well,
Yeah.
Fran and I met online in a couple of Star Trek Discovery chat rooms that we were defending Sonequa early on.
Ooh,
And then
okay.
Tamia, we met at AwesomeCon, and Yvette came in at
Later.
VTech 2. VTech.
Wow.
VTech, yeah, virtual Trek.
I always feel like Sonequa reminds me of we have one sister, and my sister is like a bubbling energy thing of joy. She's a dancer, and she has that like Sonequa was kind of like everything is joyful and everything
Infectious.
like that. Yeah,
Exactly.
we're
totally,
not.
totally infectious like that. Like yeah, she just seems like such a joy, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's
All right,
really
Go ahead.
How can we help you?
well.
What
We're
answers
just
can we give? What?
We got questions.
We
Did
have
you watch our
so
little
many
cartoon?
answers. Oh, it's so joyous.
Good.
I mean,
Oh,
love
thank you.
your little cartoon. The little
Thank you.
cartoon that could, you
A
know.
little cartoon that could, yes.
I think in Chicago we were got a chance to just gush a little bit about how much we love Prodigy, and you know we the sisters are of the opinion that the two animated series are creating some of the best Trek that's out there today. And you know, you guys have talked a lot in your past about your growing up as with a love of Star Trek, right?
Mhm.
And so I'm just curious as to what did, when you were kids growing up with Star Trek, what did that teach you? Like, how did Star Trek influence the men that you became today?
Mm. Wow.
I mean, we weren't like, I would say we were respectful and we were fans of Star Trek, but we weren't like solely like on the, we didn't think we would ever get to be writing our own Trek show. So that never really is something.
And we grew up, like, our introduction to Trek was through the movies. So I question what Kirk taught me. While he did do some good things, you know, looking back, I don't know if he was the best role model for me as a young boy.
But I think that's where like our cinematic, like when we think of Trek, you know, visually, we think
Big.
ending where Spock dies. It's massively emotional.
Yeah.
It's epic for us. Like, we were children of the 80s, and to us Kirk and Spock were as big as Michael Jackson. Like, they were, and we were from Oregon. We never thought we'd ever have a chance to get into the entertainment industry. So I think they were just icons in our heads. And to us, Star Trek, to me, is that relationship of Kirk and Spock, of that two very different people learning from each other. And I think that value
Being better together.
Cool.
so important. And I think when we were approached about Star Trek Prodigy, the first thing we thought was, in today's day and age, with politics and stuff, I'm like, this is the time that different people need to start actually talking and really listening to each other.
Coming together and
Yeah.
being greater together. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Easier said than done.
Yeah,
Right,
so
right,
true,
right,
so
right.
true. But I think that's why it's so important that we have a show that's speaking directly to a younger age group. You know, I mean, it translates to us as well, to adults, but you know, particularly for the younger ones. That's what we get them.
That's that's how we came in as younger ones. So,
Well,
speak. Go ahead.
Can I just, and some kids' shows are very disposable, right? And a good Trek show, like, I'm watching all the original series still, you know, I'm watching these, and like, they stand the test of time. And so we're like, let's make sure this show, I want decades from now, kids are finding Prodigy for the first time.
Yeah, that's cool.
We are Starfleet.
Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No worries, no worries. I was gonna go back to Chicago. I know when we met you guys in Chicago, you know, we were just seeing Prodigy, the ending of it, and I was wondering, why was there such a large break in the middle? I actually thought the season was over. I thought this was season 2 for a while. Was the show designed?
Was that
10.
after 10? Okay.
Yeah, like was after 10. So I was wondering, was the show designed to be played like that, or was that just beyond your control?
It was designed to go 10 and then break and then 10.
Okay.
In the first batch, there was 5 and a break, a lot of because of COVID. And you know, you set out to make a budget and you make a show before
Yeah.
COVID hits, and then all of a sudden COVID hits and you're like, you know,
Yeah.
either rush it and get it out the door, or we go, hey, this thing's going to last, hopefully the test of time, we got to do it right.
Yeah.
So, you know,
get
that
that.
was uncomfortable conversations, but like it what was in the best intention for the show, the best, you know.
But
Cool,
as you'll
cool.
see, like, you know, we designed it as like, in essence, 10 episode. Yeah, I don't want to call them
Arcs.
seasons, but the first 20 episodes are really going to feel like a complete story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you're just leading up to the final 5 are intense,
Can't wait.
really dramatic.
But
Yeah.
after each 10, it feels like something happens where you can take a little break. You know,
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
you know,
I'm
the
good
kids
with
save the minors. Okay, good. That was
Right.
good.
Yeah. I like it.
But we'll always tease you though. We'll always tease you about what's going to be in the next 10. So
See, I love that.
That's good trick right there.
We thought this was one of the, we
Yeah.
thought this was one of the best cliffhangers ever. I mean, we thought it, 10 was just like, okay,
oh,
wait a
wait for
minute.
20, man. That's the end of this, like that cliffhanger.
All right.
All right.
Stop playing with us now. Come on now.
I know.
Big cliffhanger.
I know.
We only got like a few
Yes.
screeners.
I wouldn't say it's a cliffhanger, but it's like a nugget. It's a nugget.
Yeah.
Nugget.
That's you to look forward to.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Sabrina.
All right. Well, I am the OG in the group along with Fran, and I am the sister that has, as they say to me, an aversion to animation.
Do you?
And
She does.
it's been a hard pull for me to watch the animated
Okay.
show. But let me say this. We did a bonus show about how much Sabrina loves Prodigy. So
Yay.
you got
I
me.
love it.
So I was watching this and I saw different characters in the way that they were being drawn. And so I was saying, Gwen and Doll remind me of anime and Speed Racer. Zero reminds me of the Jetson. Murph, I thought about, My Little Pony. And Rock Talk, I was like, okay, that is the thing from
Marvel.
that's Jack Kirby there.
Yeah, Jack Kirby.
And I'm like,
literally,
okay, the Telluride with that little tooth and a little black nose, that is definitely Fred Flintstone, Hanna-Barbera. Just stop it.
Oh yeah.
So I want to know, which cartoons did you love growing up?
Oh my gosh. That maybe influenced this.
We grew up with like G.I. Joe. I remember watching G.I. Joe. We were
Yeah, Transformers, G.I. Joe but here's the hard part. It was linear TV
Mhm.
and it was somewhat serialized, but they would play them in
You watch
order.
whatever was on TV Saturday.
Right.
morning. You watch the block.
The
And then it
whole
got to
thing.
some PBS
Right.
stuff. You're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Start throwing educational stuff at like 11 a.m. in the morning, and that kid's
That's
Right,
when it was time to get
exactly.
up and do chores.
But I think, so with animation, I don't know how much animation influenced us. Like, I
yeah,
would
because we didn't
say-
want to go into animation, so it obviously.
Yeah,
didn't
I would say,
inspire us.
like, when you look at our show, you're going to see a lot of Amblin entertainment, like Spielberg stuff, like
Uh-huh.
E.T.
Mhm.
and Goonies, and all that sort of wish fulfillment and coming of age type of stories.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of that. And also, like, I was just showing my kids Flash Gordon, the 1980s,
yeah.
like campy, super fun, rock music, colorful
Yes.
outfits. I loved that stuff. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to hand it over to Fran.
Oh, Fran.
You're muted, boo.
Oh, Fran.
Classic Fran.
While Fran tries to figure that, there we go.
Here I am.
All
Hey,
right.
Fran.
Hey, Fran.
Hello. Hi. I know that you've been involved with other franchises, other huge franchises. It's being a part of Trek. We had there was a discussion about how I should ask this question. However, being a part of Trek, how has it been different or has it been different from the other huge franchises you've been a part of?
Oh, it's
The
different.
fandom.
It's
Excuse me?
different because you know how much it means to people. You know how much Trek means, and it's like you're tiptoeing through a minefield, and you're like, don't want to
Frightening,
get blown up.
right? It's frightening.
Canon.
And there's so much before us, right? Whereas the other franchises with Lego, when we did the Lego movie and Lego Ninjago, there was very little Lego entertainment before what we worked on it. And what we saw were like, we could do better than that. Like Lego deserves better entertainment than that. So that was different and easier. But Trek, you've got, oh my gosh, there's so much great stuff.
Yeah.
And everyone's knives are out, like waiting to cut you up.
Yeah.
Don't we know?
Like me.
Like,
how are they gonna mess this up? Let's
Right.
see.
like we always say like, oh, we're not a kid show, but if anyone attacks us, we'll be like, hey, you're attacking a kid show. Hey.
With the Trek history, with over 50 years of history and all this stuff, the Trek fans are a whole different body of people from the other franchises. So I'm glad you're here. We love your show, and I'm just amazed. I'm amazed at the animation of it because it's so different from Lower Decks, but the animation is so just beautiful. It's just so gorgeous, and thank you for that. It's like, oh, I'm mesmerized by the storylines and the animation. So thank you.
Well, it touches us because honestly, like when you're making something, you know, like kids are going to come to it because of how beautiful it is. But to have adults come to it and appreciate it means a lot to us because like that's something that was really important to us. Wanting to make sure that, you know, Kate Mulgrew will tell you herself, like their adults can learn just as much as kids if they allow us to. You know?
Yeah, and like we're talking about the universe being so vast and deep now with shows, you know, that was their intention of not just it's not just a kid's show, it's for the new viewer, it's for that person who's maybe been a little timid about entering into the Trek universe and doesn't know where to start. Well, here's a nice, easy way in, and it introduces the principles and the type of sort of episode sort of themes and ideas, or, you know, and concepts that Star Trek likes to play with, and it gets you in, and suddenly it's a launching pad to jump into Voyager or TOS or whatever you want.
New worlds,
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like we've said it actually a couple of times. Yvette has actually said several times how this is the show that she can take to people who don't have any knowledge of Trek beforehand and use it as an introduction, because it teaches you everything you need to know about Star Trek philosophy. You know, I mean, it's like we are going along on that ride with these kids. And I think that's one of the things that's so endearing about it to me personally, is that, you know, I'm seeing it through fresh eyes again. You know, I was indoctrinated into these principles when I was really young, but to be able to go back and say and try, and it reminds me of what it was like as a child when I first saw you know, No Kill Eye, you know, and was like, oh, that's not the monster, you know.
Yeah, it was exciting for us. Like when we were talking about the characters, you know, creating a Medusan as a character, we're like, that's just going to blow kids' heads. Like, the concept of what is a non-corporeal entity, how it can drive a person crazy. I'm like, I love these little like nugget bombs that you throw into kids' heads that can really get them to think and get them to spark and get them to think of new ideas and think outside the box. So it's an absolute pleasure to be working.
We wanted, when we built the show we wanted it for the adult Trek fans, that this was the show that they never knew that they wanted. You know, we designed it.
That's exactly how I feel.
I'm so happy and relieved to hear that it's working, because that, you know, we've been on this for like 3.5 years of our lives devoted to this, and we're like, thank God it's working.
Okay, bye.
We just want to say we love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.